Two gays watch a movie!
With Arron Holman.
And Zacary Landolt.
Hi, I'm your host, Arron Holman.
And I'm your other host, Zacary Landolt.
And today we're watching Christmas on the Square. Christmas on the Square is the new holiday musical that dropped on Netflix this year, just in time for the holiday season.
It features songs written by Dolly Parton and features a cast that includes Kristen Baranski, Jennifer Lewis, Treat Williams, Josh Segarra, and Dolly Parton herself.
Dolly, what are you doing here?
Hello, Dolly.
Before we dive into our unpacking of this wild movie, let's take a look at the trailer for Christmas on the Square.
Ooh.
Roll that footage.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
Yes!
Oh, man.
Christmas is a time for caring, being at your best. Christmas is a time for sharing, knowing you've been blessed. There are the haves and the have-nots, and you could be either one.
Who are you?
Well, Angel,
What do you want from me?
change.
What you're doing now is such a low blow, demolishing the lives of all the people you know.
The deadline to be out of your homes is now Christmas Eve.
Gotta get out of this town. Christmas on the Square. There's no reason to wait around. Everybody's there. I know in time I'll lose my mind if I don't get out of this town.
Angels fly 'cause they take themselves lightly. Angels glow and they shine so brightly. You find that light and it will lead you to the part of you you lost.
What might that be?
The part that can be happy. Christmas is a time for caring, being at your best.
Christmas is a time for sharing, knowing you've been blessed.
Christmas is a time for angels, making things all right. Christmas on the Square.
Wow, this was... okay, so,
Wow is right.
to start off, so I watched this the weekend it came out because I was like, oh, Dolly, love that. Jennifer Lewis, big fan. Kristen Baranski, one of my faves.
Yeah.
And about 5 minutes in, I went, uh-oh, I think this is
Uh-oh.
bad.
It was like a train wreck that I could not stop watching.
I couldn't
now.
stop watching. I mean, oh, it's weird. I remember saying to people after I saw it, because when they would say, oh, should I watch it? I go, I think so. I think you should watch it. I think it's worth seeing because it's bizarre.
Once, at least.
Just the once.
No,
Unfortunately.
it's not just once, but like I do think that everyone should see it once, just to
Yeah,
form
see
your
it
own
once.
opinion.
One Dolly's
um,
fun.
And
It
the
was fun.
first 40 minutes for me were actually a really good time. I'm not gonna lie. I was on an upswing with it for the first 35. All the way through Jennifer Lewis's song in the shop.
Oh, yeah.
That I was sold
Okay,
up.
no, hold on here. No, hold on. Not to
What
jump
is that too
ahead.
far in?
Well, no. But to jump ahead to that
Yes.
specific song you're speaking of, I don't know if you remember, because I really noticed it. Because, okay, spoiler alert, I
Yeah.
did see this twice accidentally because my parents are very conservative, very Christian. And so it's sometimes hard to find things that the whole family can quote unquote be allowed to watch that won't just be torture for me. So I thought, well, this is practically a Hallmark movie. Like this could have been this is essentially a Hallmark movie. And so I was like, well, they can watch this. And of course they fucking loved it. But upon watching this the second time, when it got to the Jennifer Lewis, the second number she has, I was like, oh, wow. So this is the number that was on stage to give someone a costume change because it is literally nonsense. It lasts only like 90 seconds. It's a very short number in case you don't remember. And I remember thinking that was literally unneeded time that we just spent. And I love Jennifer Lewis. Any excuse to hear Jennifer Lewis be Jennifer Lewis, I will sign up for. But it was I think the common thread with this movie for me, lots of fat on it. There's a lot of things that could have been edited out of this
I
movie.
absolutely agree. And what a wonderful place to start with the fat.
A wonderful place to start.
Let's start with one of the core relationships in the movie. We have Christine Baranski, who comes back home to
I'm gonna
town.
get out of this town.
She's got to get out of this place.
I'm gonna get out of this place.
What doesn't make sense to me is she owns the town. Is that right? She
Yeah,
comes
it's like
home
her
to sell the whole
dad- Yeah, it's like her dad owns the town, and we open the movie with her saying, "Well, I've sold the entire town to a mall." And I'm like, what are you fucking talking about?
What?
You should
That's
be
not-
out by Christmas.
It was very how the Grinch stole the whole town and sold it to a mall.
It's
You know
how
what I mean?
every holiday movie, there's something that has to happen by Christmas Day. And if it hasn't happened by Christmas Day, and I always think, Christmas Day, it's a national holiday. Like, that would not be going through business-wise on Christmas, ma'am.
Yeah, who's
and-
enforcing the eviction on Christmas?
Yeah, and so she is essentially the Ebenezer Scrooge / the Grinch figure of this film. I would absolutely say, of course.
Well, bah humbug.
But in the opening scene, the thing I'm obsessed with, like I, even the first time I watched this, I went, ma'am, is that the best idea? So she evicts everyone from the town, which is already like, wow, what a bitch. But then she goes to Jennifer Lewis's shop where we immediately see duck walking homosexuals. And I was like, okay, so we at least have some gay rep. I'll give them that.
But that is not the type of gay representation. That is not enough for me. But
It's not enough, but yeah, I'll take
We'll come
it.
back. We
You-
will
you know what, I'll
circle
take it.
back to that duck walk.
Yeah, we'll circle back. But what I love is that she's like, I know we've been friends for a long time, but I'm evicting you today. And she's like, and be sure to be there to do my hair tomorrow on time. And I'm like, bitch, I might like get my hair done before you evict her. Like, I might have booked the hair appointment before you sent her eviction papers. It is a
it's
pretty
not
ballsy
realistic.
move to get your hair set by the woman who you evicted from her shop.
That's a big, it's a no for me, dog. Like, that's not going to happen.
It's enough for me. We also get introduced to the Christian pastor named Christian.
Oh my God. Could it be?
Christian.
Could he be any more Christian?
Could he be any more Christian?
That's
Played
right.
by
We're just-
the energetic, brilliant actor Josh Segarra.
Please don't say that. Please rephrase that.
The handsome, eternally handsome actor Josh Segarra.
The handsome because they insist he is actor. Josh
I think he's
Segarra.
handsome. I mean, I think he's hot. It's the only thing he
Alright.
has going for him. He's hot. And he
Well-
could sing. I'll give him that. He could sing.
He could sing very well.
But it was also like the most basic, like, oh, you sound like a male that can sing.
Mhm,
There was nothing like
mhm.
special to his voice. I'm dragging today. You know, it is what it is. He was perfectly fine. Like,
I don't think he was fine. For me,
in singing, I mean. In singing, to be clear.
okay, but like the acting, because the acting's bad, I find all the other things that he does insufferable. So like
Oh,
to
no,
me,
the
like he
performance
becomes less
bad.
attractive and the singing sounds less good, just mostly because like I
Yeah,
would what's the word? I would cringe when
Oh,
I would
yeah.
watch his scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And for me, gosh, that's not what I want out of my Christmas movie.
No, I
I
definitely
think
get
that they
that.
should have I think that they should have replaced his whole plot.
Mhm.
I think they should have replaced his whole plot and given that to Jennifer Lewis. They should have like put those two characters together, and Jennifer Lewis should have just been the preacher or pastor.
Yeah, I know you talked about this off mic. I do think that Jennifer Lewis should have been like, I'm the
A more
preacher.
central
Like,
role. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because that was, and he should have been. Actually, I got it. I fixed this movie.
I have
She's
an
the
idea, yeah.
She's the pastor, right? And then Kristen Baranski's old flame is Treat Williams. Josh Segarra should have been his like apprentice, like guy that works in his shop. And it should have been like he's like almost like the younger version of him. Because then later when we find out, plot twist, jumping ahead, it's her son the whole time. It would have been like,
Oh.
yeah, it would have been kind of like, oh, the man that I was in love with was kind of looking after my son this whole time. Like Ed would have,
Oh my God, that would have been epic. Tie it
instead
up
we
with a
get
bow.
Christian the Christian. And so while we talk about Josh Segarra, why don't we take a moment to discuss the performance, quotation marks, of his
Uh,
wife, who I swear in his dialogue they make him say "my love" a million times, almost as if to say, audience, just so it's clear, that's his wife.
yeah, he is straight in this like movie.
We're like,
Um,
well, I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it. I know you
what?
know things about this woman. I thought, and I'm not saying anything about body type or whatever, but she is not appropriate's not the word. She is not, I think, right for this particular role, I would say. Specifically off of him. Like, was there a chemistry test even conducted? Because if that had been, I thought it was his sister for
You know what?
like
They're
a
gonna
second.
blame it on COVID and be like, we just couldn't get them in the same room to
Oh,
do a screen
bullshit.
test, and
Bullshit.
so well, we just had to go with the best actress for the job.
And so
Um,
you know backstory on that woman, right?
well, she's Dolly Parton's like prodigy. She has worked for Dolly Parton on almost every like musical thing that she's done for the past few years, especially the Code of Many Colors, which has been adapted
God.
into more than one.
Who was she in that?
Like, apparently the character's name is Miss Moody, which
Oh,
I guess I don't know. I'm
oh, I
looking
think
at
she was the
the
teacher.
yeah, I'm looking at the cover and it looks just like a scene from Sound of Music and Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat.
Because I have seen that movie. Because my
She's also
parents,
apparently been on
again,
Law and Order, Bad Country, but let's just
wait,
be
she's been like in like non-Dolly things.
yes, but
Oh,
her
wow.
main employer, let's be
Mhm.
real, it's Dolly Parton.
Main employer.
There's something about her. I have to go off it. It's the tone of her singing voice.
Oh my
Something Dolly
god.
Parton just likes about it, and she likes
Which I don't
supporting
understand.
this
I'm gonna be
woman.
honest. I don't get it. Like she's not bad, but
It
it's
was pure. It was pure. That's the only thing I can guess because let's face it, Dolly Parton is I mean she comes from like
hi y'all.
a mountain Christian
You got
backwoods
such a
woman.
lovely voice, darling. You know,
Exactly. A little
because
Stone
she,
Mountain realness.
I just thought she was perfectly bland. Like just like
But you know what? That's safe. And that would be really good for a Dolly Parton musical. No,
stop it.
I'm not. What?
I want big swings. At least Josh Segarra was giving me high camp with how bad he was. She was just like perfectly like, oh dear. Oh
I
well.
agree. They had absolutely no chemistry. And I cannot wait to do a segment from them when we get to our two gays acting.
Yes, we will be doing a scene as Josh Segarra
Now,
and
now
Josh
that we've
Segarra's
read
wife.
them to filth and their relationship to filth, we will be performing them. And I'm
Yes, we
looking
will.
forward
Oh,
to it.
because well, for comedy, let's be real. Okay, so we've gone this long and we somehow have not even talked about Miss Dolly as a hobo angel at the beginning of this movie. Got some change?
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, homeless by way of J. Crew. I'm like, in what universe are you a homeless woman?
You could tell that her hair was done underneath, like
Yeah,
her
like granted,
little
it was
like
flatter than usual. I'll give her that. It looked like actually, she looked kind of gorgeous, I gotta say. Because her hair is never that flat ever. So like, oh, you look kind of nice.
yeah,
You know,
but the higher the hair, the closer to God. So
I'm gonna get some change out of you.
you know, I was also bothered by where was this filmed? Is my question because
In Georgia.
originally was it a real town or was this a set? This was a
No. Oh
set.
my, you're so sweet. No, this is
Listen,
absolutely. Was this a real town?
listen, because I had issues with how small
Oh,
everything was.
it
You know,
looks
it was
like a fucking mall, like
like a mall
North
crossway.
Pole Village. Like I remember being like, what in the Busch Gardens Christmas spectacular fuckery is this?
The
Town?
biggest thing that like the most ridiculous plot point that kept happening because of this very small square
Oh my
they were
god.
existing in was her getting her medical updates from her doctor by almost running into him with her car, apparently a couple of times. And this is when he
When she's
decides
driving like 5 miles per hour, and she's like, "Oh my god, doctor, I'm so sorry." And you're like,
I need you to come into the office. I have news to tell you.
"Sorry, there was a paper on my face, and I couldn't see."
Just tell me what the news is, doctor.
Oh
Oh
man,
my goodness.
doctor.
It was so ridiculous.
Man, I love
But
Kristen Baranski. Kristen Baranski, I will say, she knew exactly what this movie was, and I do think she gave for this movie a perfect performance because she did what we needed more people to be doing, which is winking at how bad this is. Like I think
she
she
knew,
got
but
it.
she was getting that paycheck, honey.
Oh, she was getting that paycheck and got. Oh, let me tell you, they'll not get it twisted. If they wanted to hire me to be like gay number 4 in this, I would have been like, hell yeah! When do I show up? When do you need me
Speaking
there?
of that, how many gays were in this movie?
Exactly 2.
I saw 2.
Well, no, I saw more than 2, but 2 officially. Officially, there was at least 2.
2 by canon.
2
that are
by
gay.
canon.
Mhm.
And they have, I think the most offensive line in the movie is when they have a town meeting to talk about protesting being evicted. And they're like, the one guy's like, they're gonna want to kick us out of here to build fancy movie theaters with expensive sushi. And they're like, not that I don't love expensive sushi and movie theaters. I was like, oh, sit the fuck down, you fucking I won't say the word, but you know,
Uh-huh. Oh, I know.
you
I know.
silly
Christmas fairy.
Sit your ass down, you fucking fairy. And I'm a fairy, so I can say that. And it was just like, and here's the thing, it's this weird thing where it makes me cringe, but I was like, here's what I liked about it, because people like my parents had to be forced to look at these fucking homos. They had to look at these fucking homosexuals being gay as fuck. But couldn't they have kissed once? Couldn't they have like one kiss? One kiss.
No.
No kiss. No kiss for you.
Not in this Dolly Parton musical.
I
No,
wanted
man.
them to get like stuck under mistletoe together and be like, oh, 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 oh.
Okay, so we've touched on Dolly Parton. She
Yes.
was the angel. She also has this angel in training.
Oh.
It's this like it's one of the other weird subplots that they're just throwing in there.
Oh, I was gonna say,
and
speaking of things that could have been cut, that whole thing.
I agree.
I didn't need that bullshit.
Well, all right. So this movie's trying to do a lot. It's trying to go for Christmas. It's trying to go for I don't even know, old
It's
romance.
like Christmas Carol meets It's a Wonderful Life meets
This movie felt very Frankenstein to me. Like even with the music, it felt
Yes.
like she was trying to do the greatest hits of the holidays all in like one sleigh ride to hell. And I liked some of it.
I liked like Jennifer Lewis's number when she goes to do her hair. That was fun.
And at the church, but I also contextually didn't think that it made much sense.
Oh no, of course not. But like then there were other songs where I'm like, what in the fuck is this bullshit? Like
That's something I wanted to ask. Which is your least favorite song?
ugh, God.
I'm gonna have to pull up a track list.
Oh no, actually, least favorite song. Oh, least favorite song. No,
Yeah.
I got this. It was the first one that Josh Segarra and his wife sing together at the very beginning of the movie.
Oh, really? You
I
think
thought
that
was,
one?
I just because it's so like, we're a couple singing a lovely cute song together. Maybe the spirit of Jesus will get us a child this year. It was just very like too cheesy. Let me just say, I'm not really into cheese unless it's like campy cheesy, like fun cheesy. This
Mhm.
was like okay, my parents, they don't watch many things, but they watch a lot of Hallmark movies. That's like their safe net. They can always watch Hallmark movies. And this was essentially, I'm almost convinced this was supposed to be a Hallmark movie, and then Netflix bought it. Like it seems like, well, because even Treat Williams that plays Kristen Bransky's old beau, he's in a fucking million of those Hallmark movies.
Yeah.
My parents, well, lo and behold, he showed up, they're like, oh, Treat Williams. I was like,
It's like, oh, you know him by name. Wow.
by name. And then when I said, oh, he looks old, they were like, you think he looks old? It's like,
I
yes.
mean, yeah.
I think he looks too old to be with Kristen Baranski, to be totally honest.
I
Yeah,
do
and
too.
then
I was like, is that her dad? No.
is that her dad? Oh no, there was another song that I thought was also just cringy, which was a Dolly Parton one where it's like, looking at life in the rearview mirror. Like that whole
You know
damn
what's
thing.
crazy? Rear View Mirror was one of my favorites
Oh
because
shit.
what I was thinking about it was like this song doesn't sound like it's part of this musical. It sounded like to me it was like a random B-side that she had written
Right?
for something and stuck
I
in here.
never used
Like,
this.
I
So
love, and so to me, I was like, oh my God, I could hear this one on the radio. Like I could disassociate that song from this musical and be pretty happy. With it just being a Dolly song. But
yeah.
in context of the movie, everything was cheesy and it was a horrible level of cheese. My least favorite song, thank you for bringing us to Treat Williams, was his
Oh.
first solo and
Ugh.
his only solo, which was Keeper of Memories. It's right after Christine
Yeah, okay.
Baranski
Oh,
comes to evict him, and then
yeah.
he sings his sad, sad song about his memories.
It's so
And I
forgettable that I
hated
couldn't
it.
hum you a second of it if I needed to.
I couldn't either, but literally it was the first moment where I went, "Oh no, this movie
Oh no, this is
isn't gonna
bad.
be as fun as I thought." I was like, "Oh no, it's gonna have scenes like this."
Oh, actually, well, okay. So actually, I lied to you. The worst song in this movie, in terms of the one that I just was I was my eyes nearly rolled out of my head, was when there's a first fall. So the whole thing is like her dad's dead. She owned the town. Everyone's like, "Why are you so mean? What happened to the nice young girl that I was, in love with?" And then they finally reveal her fucking backstory, and all it is like, oh yeah, she was dating Treat Williams, and then she saw him talking to another girl for like 20 seconds at a dance, assumed he was cheating on her, immediately slept with another guy, and got pregnant. Like, it was like truly insane. I'm like, go over to your boyfriend and like
And talk
ask
to
him what's
him.
up. Like, it was too much. I know these movies are always a little too, but anyway, but in the flashback, it's supposed to be the 70s, which is the height of disco time. And she had a Dolly disco number. That was this big like dance number. And I can't really sing it, but like I just remember a lyric being like, welcome to Funky Town, where we've been known to get down. It was just like so stupid.
It was very
it hurt
wooden for
me
a
to listen
disco
to. I remember
song.
going,
Yeah.
oh, I hate this. Hate this. Yeah, it was just but then you have other things like Dolly floating on a cloud in like Kristen Baranski's kitchen, and that I was very much here for. I needed more of that. Like
Listen,
stuff
all
like
right.
that.
But see that right there, that's what they sold the whole movie on. They were like,
Yeah.
"Listen, we're gonna have Dolly floating on a cloud. She's a Christmas
Dolly's
angel."
in it. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, that was enough to sell the rest of the movie. Here's my biggest grievance point, and I know it's something that you wanted to talk about too.
Oh, wow.
How about the scene where, after leaving the town hall meeting, Regina heads over to local bar, which is
Oh,
just in somebody's house,
oh.
in the back of somebody's house,
Oh, it
and
wasn't the back of someone's house.
okay, it was the
It was
front of
like
their
an
house,
inn.
the parlor. Oh, all right. I literally just thought it was somebody's house.
No, it was like an inn.
Again, I also thought that the town might have been real. So let's
Oh,
just.
can I paint
Oh,
to you the whole this was the whole series of events, and my
yeah.
jaw was on the floor. So Kristen Brandt's like, I need a drink, and she walks into the local bar, and everyone's at the protest meeting, so no one's in the bar. And then there's one little girl. It's like, "Hi, can I help you?" And in my head at this point, I go, "Oh, it's a little girl, so she's not gonna drink, obviously. So the little girl's probably gonna pour her like some eggnog or like a hot chocolate." That's why. Then the little girl starts walking behind the bar, and even at this point, I'm like, she's not gonna pour her a drink. It's a
How
child.
old
It was
was
like a
she?
9-year-old child. I don't point like very young child.
Yeah.
Then suddenly I see little girl holding a bottle of whiskey and pouring Kristen Baranski a glass of whiskey, and I went, "This is truly insane."
Her
That this
name
is
was
happening.
Violet.
Sure. Why not? Does it matter?
Why
Uh,
not?
It doesn't matter. The fact that in a Dolly Parton family musical, they were like, and then the girl pours the whiskey.
And see right there, that's like you talked about. We talked about this before. That's the mountain water.
Oh, right.
Like,
That's hill people milk.
hill people milk. There it is. Yep.
But it
Come
was
on,
like
30
truly
Rock.
bonkers. I'm like, they have that child pouring liquor for Kristen Baranski and then like refilling her peanuts. It was just like, it was a whole moment. It was, that
It was
song.
a little much for me.
I did not like that song either.
And then she's like, she talks about how her mom dies, and then they sing that song about a fairy
Oh,
tale life.
oh fuck. When the girl's like, my mom's dead. She's like, oh, how did your mother die? And she's like, I'm really sick. And then the medicine wasn't here because a bunch of the things were evicted because of that mean lady. So my mom had to drive 20 miles out of town. Then she died.
I mean, it's a lot. Like,
It's
there
like,
was just
"Oh,
so
that's-
much that this
that's
movie
really
has
terrible.
to
You
care
shouldn't blame
about.
yourself for that."
Yeah, we should blame you.
I'm like, bitch, you know who you are. Oh, but then in connection to the little girl, then later, I think she's at the hospital, Kristen Baranski, for some
Mhm.
reason. I don't know why. Oh, the doctor. I think the doctor. Yeah, I think she was seeing the doctor. Oh, she was getting an MRI because the doctor is like, you have a tumor. You're gonna die. And then when she's leaving the hospital, suddenly ambulance comes roaring up in that piece, and it's the girl's dad, and the girl is on like a stretcher with just like a big old gauze thing wrapped around her head. The dad looked like it looked like they were about to start filming, and then one of the people on crew went, "Oh fuck. We didn't make the dad look like he was in a car accident. Here, come here. We're gonna rip your shirt sleeve." And then he's like, he had like a ripped shirt sleeve. Like, I'm like, did you have to pry yourself out of the car? Like, why is your shirt ripped like that? Like, that's not what's happening. And he
It
doesn't
doesn't
look like
make
he had
sense.
like red paint just like splattered on him by like a brush. Like, here you go. There, that'll be blood. It was just, I mean, it's insane. It's crazy.
Well, this whole movie's been like a crazy experience, but I don't know. It's not one that I would repeat, but it is definitely one that I absolutely recommend everybody watch once.
Sure. Oh, for the craziness, 'cause I will say it's
For
crazy.
the craziness, the camp, and for the fact that there are people who will really enjoy this movie.
Sure. Sure.
Your
yeah.
parents.
Well, and then
My
the ending.
family would too.
Well, and then I love how like I love the whole thing where Kristen Baranski's I guess dad like was like, "Oh, you're pregnant, so you're you're a disgrace because you're pregnant." And we find out that Christian, the Christian pastor, is her son. And I remember here's the thing, when they went like, "I have a son," I went, "Oh, it's him." By process of elimination, he's the son because there's
Me
no
too.
other young male character in this guy. It's not one of the gays. I wish it
And
was
then-
one of the gays.
And then how did you feel when you figured that out?
I went, how unfortunate for her that she's related to Josh Segarra.
For me, it was like I threw my hands up and it was just kind of like the movie.
Oh
God, they've thrown everything in.
no, I don't want to tell you. Now, the craziest thing in this movie, I think, inarguably, is that so Josh Segarra's wife, that's all I will call her. I don't know her name. She says at the beginning of the movie, "Oh, I can't get pregnant. I'm having such a hard time getting pregnant." And there's a moment where Dolly Parton gets her pregnant. And yeah, you heard me right. She gets her pregnant because she waves her little angel arm, and then a beam of light goes flying through the sky and then flies into her stomach. And then she's like, "Oh, I'm pregnant."
Oh God. Oh
So
God.
really, that's a lesbian made baby.
It better be immaculate, Mary. Listen. You know where I was done with this movie?
Yeah,
There's a
tell me.
one line, and I don't even remember who says it. It
God.
honestly, it probably
I might remember. I've seen it twice.
okay. Is this exact line? I have it written down.
yeah.
It's written in a Bible. It must be true.
Ugh.
This is a direct quote from the movie. And once I heard that, I was just like, and there it is. It was like a big, all right, I am not behind watching this movie every year. Them voguing is not enough representation for me.
Them duck walking, not enough.
That is not my gay pride,
But
Mary.
granted, I did like the idea that like these were very obviously like flamboyant gay men that were not being like shunned by any of the Christian people in the
But
town.
they were
like,
background, be seen, not heard.
But you know what I mean? Like
I'm
they
just-
were girl, stop. I'm saying normally in a movie of this Christian level, we would not have even implied there were homosexuals. So at least it was like, they're cool. We like them. They're sweet. And not all, and it should be said, not all Christians are like the gross conservative kind. I just personally have a lot of experience with the conservative gross kind. So, you know, like Dolly Parton, I think actually is an example of like a real like actual, I don't care about Christianity, like not to be controversial, like it's not my belief system, but she doesn't treat people like lesser beings on this earth because they're, you know, gay. So I appreciate that. She's a good ally, I would say, even though she's a Christian lady. I need some change, Daddy.
Speaking of change, I would like to slip into my outfit for my Two Gays acting segment.
Okay.
All right, be right back.
All right.
It's not actually happening. There's no outfit
I'm
change.
gonna try to slip into my best Josh Segarra.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead. Now that I've changed my outfit, I think that we're ready to do our Two Gays acting segment, right?
Yeah. So in this scene, we will be portraying
Are we doing?
Christian, the Christian pastor, with me as Christian, the Christian pastor, as played by eternally sleepy, sometimes watchable actor Josh Segarra.
And I will be playing Jenna Hathaway, which is played by Mary Lane Haskell.
Sure, I call it Josh Segarra's wife.
Oh my God, shut up.
I don't remember him saying her name ever. And in this scene, they have just put up a big protest sign at the church. And I have to say, they make this big to do like, wow, look at how big that sign is. It's not that big of a sign. I mean, you know,
it's not really.
I mean, it's a large sign, but they're like, oh, do you think she can see it from her house? I'm like, no,
absolutely not.
You fucking dumb Mick. What are you talking about?
It's like, you mean with her hawk eyes?
Okay. Well, let me try to slip into my sleepiness, my sleepy Josh Segarra voice. Are you ready?
Yeah. Wow, it's big.
I did want to make a statement.
Do you think she can see it from her dad's house?
I think she can see it from space. I feel like the whole town is counting on me. What if I fail them? Worst of all, if the resistance doesn't stop her, I'll be failing you, my love.
Christian, stop. Your ministry and your vision for this town are both beyond reproach. No matter where we are, you could never fail us. I was actually thinking the exact opposite.
What are you talking about?
All you've ever wanted to be was a husband and a father. I didn't know that I'd have so much trouble making the second dream come true for you.
My love, I didn't want to be a husband and a father. I wanted to be your husband. And I wanted to be a father to our children if we're meant to have them. And if we're not, you'll be the most wonderful mother wherever those children come from.
But
no, there are no buts in our wedding vows. Sorry.
Oh, man. You know what? That was so much more fun than I expected.
Right.
I got really into that.
You had a really nice whispery, like, oh, I love when, like, she just walks over to pour herself a little cup of coffee, and I'm like, what's happening here? Who directed this goddamn thing?
You know what? I think this movie directed itself.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
It fell in the direction it was going to fall in. I'll put it that
Timber!
way. Oh, my. Well, shall we head to the segment that we end every episode with?
Yes, it's time for the segment in our show where we rate the movie on our Trusted Gay-ometer. which rates the movie on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being the most straight and 10 being the most homosexual.
Ho, 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 bitches.
Or to put it in perspective using examples from Christmas on the Square, 1 would be a Christian pastor named Christian, and 10 would be Jennifer Lewis belting while 2 gays duck walk behind her.
Oh, man.
And I'd be eating overpriced sushi at a movie theater.
Oh,
Well, I'll let you go first.
all right. I'm going to rip this one a new one because I have been waiting.
Okay.
Christmas on the Square is about to get a hole in it. So I think this movie is a 2 out of 10 on how.
What? Okay.
I swear to God. Yeah.
Hold on here.
That's right. That's right. Because there's so many things that I have to mark off gay points for. What should have been a gay classic for everyone to enjoy, to me, felt very oppressive. If this movie had come out if this movie had come out 20 years ago, I would be thrilled. But with it coming out in the year 2020, it just was not progressive enough for me. I did not like the pastor plot line. You know what? Dolly Parton wasn't an angel. About? I hated it. It was too heterosexual with zero chemistry, and like that heteronormativity can stay over there. Yeah, I'm just gonna give it a 2 out of 10, and I don't even have to defend it anymore. This movie was terrible. I'm glad we did it, and Merry Christmas to everyone. But I hated this movie. It was trash, Mama.
Okay, all right, cool. That's fair. So a 2 from Arron. Okay, now the question, should you remind the audience, this is a gayometer. We're just measuring how
so sorry.
gay this movie is. And
I also don't think it's gay. I just don't think it's gay.
All right.
Because it didn't make me happy.
Okay, well, I have a complicated answer. So I think anything that has Kristen Baranski, Dolly Parton, and Jennifer Lewis, it's at least a 5. But here's the thing: I'm gonna keep it at like
a 5.
Like a 6. I'll give it a 6, only because here's the thing: I think you and I are not the target gay demographic for this movie, but there are Southern gays that are gonna lap this shit up. Now, I know. Listen, I know. Now, granted, I am technically a gay of the South. This movie was kind of whatever for me. But there are like, because this is a real thing. There are lots of Christian gays. There are Christian gays that will be like, I love this movie. Like
it's like every choir director.
You got it. They're wearing a all
the church
vest,
choir directors,
a zip-up fleece vest. Yeah, they got it. You know them. Like I love that movie. I love Dolly Parton, and I like that girl from Mamma Mia. She was really good. Like I can just see them.
And I think Catherine McPhee gets a bad rap.
I like that. Yeah, there are gays that will love this. And I do think it's pretty gay. It's just like not good. So so for me,
that is fair. Like
it's pretty fucking gay. Like it doesn't mean that it's good. Let me keep that in mind. It's not good. I want to make that clear. So
I would like an addendum, and I'm gonna make it a 3. It's a 3 out of 10.
How generous this time of year to bump it up a whole point. So we have a 3 from Arron and a 6 from me.
Well, look, this movie required me to be generous. This movie was it was Christmas on the Square. I gotta get out of this town. I gotta get out of this place.
I'm gotta get out of this place. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what that gives us a 6? This is why it's a 6. Because when they show Dolly Parton floating like the top of the tree in the church or in the town square, so literally Dolly Parton is a tree topper, that's pretty gay. That's when this was pretty gay. 6. Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6. Yeah. So, well, this has been a moment. For, a lot more fun to talk about than I expected, though, I have to say.
I think it's been a low point, honestly.
Yeah, pretty low point.
It's all up from here.
It's all up from here. Gonna get some change out of you. Well, Arron, do you want to let the listeners know where they can find you on social media?
Well, absolutely. I'm going to be at the church for choir rehearsal after this. But after that, if you want, you can follow me on all social media at AWholeHuman. Follow me on Insta, Twitter, and my Patreon for my other podcast, patreon.com/eye-to-eye podcast. That's EYE number 2 letter I
It's
podcast.
the season of giving, y'all.
Oh my God.
We're going to get some change out of you.
Listen.
And you can follow me at Zacary with no H on Instagram and Twitter. And you can follow the pod at 2 Gays Watch a Movie on Instagram or at 2 Gays Watch on Twitter. You can listen to our episodes on YouTube. You can check out our Facebook page. There's so many places to be checking us out. And you know, we're that much further into the Christmas season. We've made it through this one. So only one movie left.
I'm very excited. It's my favorite one, honestly.
Well, I did have a lot of fun. I did have a lot of fun talking about this movie, I have to say, as much as the movie wasn't good.
Yeah, that is very true.
I was entertained.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye.
But yeah, goodbye,
Oh.
Mr. Gay Grinch.
No, listen, I just think it's a bad movie.
What
I've gotta go.
What are you talking about?
Josh, you better get the fuck out of here.